the record button. So we are officially recording.
Woohoo!
Okay, cool. Right, so I'll do my silly introduction and we'll start chatting. Hello and welcome to the first ever live interview podcast with me, Che Appleyard, for How Do You Like Those Apples? And my first ever guest on my podcast is Mr. Paul Finch. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. I thank you so much for doing this. And you are literally
Thanks
like
for having
my
me.
lab rat for this. So
Your test bunny.
yeah, Test Bunny. Test Bunny sounds much nicer than lab rat. So you have a new album coming out tomorrow, or it's out, but it's digitally going to be out tomorrow.
It will be available on all good streaming platforms as of tomorrow. So from what the company I do it through with, it should be on Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, Apple Music, and probably some I don't know because I'm not young anymore.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, and I fully appreciate that because there's a few things like Deezer. What's Deezer? Like, I mean, I didn't know what that was until like fairly recently.
No idea.
But it's quite a cool thing. Like, I remember when I brought an EP out about 2 years ago now, and I remember my other half. She said to me, "Did you know you're on Apple Music?" I went like, "Yes, I do. I do know on Apple Music." So it is quite a cool thing. And so, I mean, how long has this been in the pipeline for you?
Not long, really. Some of the songs have been in the pipeline, but as you know from my previous work, I normally end up recording the band or doing their sound, and I never really get to do my own thing. And it took a pandemic to allow me to have time to actually put the meanderings in my brain down on a piece of paper.
I mean, is it quite a thing where, I mean, I find that a lot of bands are doing it and a lot of artists are doing it like, due to the pandemic, even though we can't go and see anyone. I mean, you know, I've known you for a few years and I miss you guys terribly down in your neck of the woods. But do you feel like it's kind of gravitated away from like live music and people are actually going to write lots of music at the moment? Like people are going to be creating a lot more.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of albums come out the back end of this pandemic. You know, Foo Fighters dropped a new tune the other day, you know, and it was written like 4 days ago because they've got the time. They're not late for this meeting or due at that meeting. And I think you're going to see a big resurgence of albums come out. And then I think the following year, festival season and touring season is going to be insane.
I read on the NME today about why there should be a year-long Glastonbury next in 2022.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Count me in.
That's
the smallest stage with the smallest tent, and I'll be well happy.
Because obviously, I mean, it's a lifestyle change for you because you effectively work primarily in live music, don't you? Like you do a lot of touring on sound and other aspects of that.
It's weird. You know, it's affected me massively. I had 370 odd gigs in the diary for 2019, 2020, and I did 6.
320, you only did 6?
Yeah. You know, and the company I'm with, it's affected them massively. You know, and it's one of those things where you kind of just have to carrying on. And I think one of the ways that I got through it, when, you know, everyone's in the same boat, finding out how, you know, get yourself, because I'm self-employed, how do I get self-employment, income, help? There's been some grants by theatre work and touring companies have been giving out grants for us and stuff. And so you're endless amounts of paperwork and, you know, fighting for your voice to hopefully help out. And I think doing the album was my escape. It sort of got me through some of the harder days. I mean, it's not World War II. You know, I get it. You know, we've got to stay at home. It's not the hardest thing in the world. But I think I'm someone that likes to do, and not having anything to do. I needed to find something, and I found solace in writing this album, really.
So was everything done in your what I call the ultimate man cave at the back of the?
The ultimate man. It was all done at Seacross Studios in my little home studio, and the commute was killer. I had to leave the kitchen by the back door and walk 20 paces down to the bottom of my garden. And then sort of, you've met him yourself, but I work a lot with a guy called Brian, who's sort of my mentor. And it started off with an idea, and it's my son's 10th birthday this year. And I was like, wouldn't it be nice in this year of not doing anything if I wrote an album that sort of sums up the last decade from being like, you know, single to married to then now having a 10-year-old and all the things that come with it. And so all the songs kind of have a layer of a different part of those 10 years, you know, so like the first few songs are quite carefree. They're all about, you know, just doing what I want to do. Then the middle section's a bit more about becoming a dad, and you start thinking about things, you know, time and space and stuff. And then at the end is sort of like it's all been all right, actually. It's all kind of worked out. And so I bounced that between Brian and myself, and we literally wrote this whole thing. Well, I'd say the first 6 songs of this album were written in my studio, then emails to Brian, notes sent back, and it was just backwards and forwards. And I think I run up a phone bill. We was on the phone one day for I think about 5 hours, where I was playing stuff to him down the phone, and he was like, "Oh, try this and do that." So yeah, it was. Although we was in lockdown, we were connected via telephone and email.
Because it was quite funny. Because I mean, I'm gonna shock you here a little bit because I didn't realise how time has flown. But when we did your podcast, so I'm working. You know, I'm doing this as you was my first interviewee, but you are a seasoned professional at this, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was 5 years ago we did your podcast.
Wow.
You know, me and the guys from the Miranda. Like, it's amazing how time flies. And I remember you talking about, you went, yeah, my Brian will be here shortly. You're Brian?
Yeah. It's kind of his nickname. It's because I don't want to let anyone else have him. Yeah, he's been my mentor. So from when I started off in sound, you know, and stuff, he's been there and done it. You know, he was the soundie for for Chuck Berry. He's worked at Air Studios. He toured in his own band, the Rebettes, during the 70s. You know, he knows a lot. And so I try and learn as much as I can. And there's a little bit of this album's a bit of a nod to Brian, you know, like a thank you sort of note, you know, that we've actually got to do something together that I'll always have, that I'll always look at and go, I did that with Brian, you know, that sort of thing.
Amazing. So I'm going to let you play a tune in a minute, but I do want everyone to know the real Paul Finch. Right. So,
oh dear.
So I am going to give you a few quick fire questions.
Okay.
Okay. So just clear your minds. Very important, these, because people get to know who you are, you know, how you feel about things. Right. Okay. Favorite day of the week?
Mondays.
Not everyone will say that. That's quite good. Nickname your parents used to call you?
Porky.
Porky Paul?
Yeah, Porky Paul. Because apparently when I was born, I was dead skinny. But I lived up to the name now. I added the pounds just to live up to the name.
I'll tell you what, lockdown has not been very good for me, Paul. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not been brilliant. Like, wow, there's actually loads of chocolate in the cupboard, like, you know, which is wrong because they should be in the fridge. That's my next question. Where should chocolate be?
Or in my belly.
Okay, no, that's cool. No, good answer. What was the last song you downloaded?
Liam Gallagher's Christmas song. I've forgotten what it's called now.
Fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is
awesome.
I'll go with that. At what age do you want to retire?
Now, 36.
Sonic or Mario?
Sonic.
Good answer. Good answer. Favorite junk food?
Chinese.
Chinese. Do you snore?
Yes. Loud as well.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
Oh, 60s.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate chip mint choc chip.
Favorite number?
7.
Oh, why?
Magic.
If Voldemort offered you a hug, would you accept?
Yes.
Colmore.
And I'd let my hand slide down his back a bit.
You know what? I saw this question on it just now, and I thought, oh my god, this is brilliant because Ian Keaton could be involved in this bit. Are lifeguards attractive?
Yeah.
Oh, you like that bit, wouldn't he? And finally, what's your favourite type of tea?
Oh, Yorkshire tea all the way.
I find I'm going to get a lot of angry emails and probably death threats for this, but I find that you need that Yorkshire tea is the only tea you should put milk in first.
No, that's not how a cup of tea is made. Like, I'll tell you this, I would have said Tetley.
We have Tetley. I think we normally get
Tetley
Tetley.
is like Tottenham Hotspur. Like, it was good once, and now it's dropping down the league.
I'm gonna have to chuckle the Tetley tea out. Like, I can't have this. Like, it's not gonna be in my head every single time the missus says, "Do you want a cup of tea?" I'll be like, "No, Spurs, no." Especially as I'm a gooner as well, which don't help. Right. Well, enough of me yapping. Time for you to start strumming your guitar.
Oh, okay. Go on.
I was going to say, what will be your first song, and why have you chosen to play it first?
Okay, so this first track's called Fortune Teller, and it's a story. It's like a nice story. It's like I try to write all happy songs, and I remember where I was when I wrote it. It was 2012 Olympics, and I was in the garden, and it was really hot, and the summer was great, and England was smashing it Britain was smashing it in the Olympics, and I just wanted to write sort of like a happy song, and this is sort of what come out.
Nice. I want to mute myself on my microphone here, and I will.
I haven't played it in a while.
I used to do this thing on radio where I used to call it the nod.
Okay, I'll wait for the nod.
Yeah, so I'm now I'm not, after I've been kicked off of it, I am going to mute myself and give you the nod. All right?
Okay. Ah, lovely nod. Right, this is Fortune Teller. Come and tell me fortune. I laugh and pray in the morning sun. Cross my palm with silver. Now sing a song for the lovers, 'cause I'm free, yeah. Free to fly 1,000 miles down. Free, yeah. Free to fly 1,000 miles away. Away. Mind spinning like a carousel as the colors leave the TV screen. About time to speak your mind, leave your hopes and on the washing lines, 'cause I'm free, yeah, free to fly 1,000 miles, and I'm free, yeah, free to fly 1,000 miles to you, to you, to you. Whoa. Searching the darkness, looking for answers, watching the stars shine, lighting up my mind. Lighting up my mind. So I'm free, yeah, free to fly 1,000 miles, and I'm free, yeah, yeah, free to fly 1,000 miles away, away, away. Come and tell me my fortune as I laugh and pray in the morning sun.
And that was the finishing nod as well, just to finish off. And what's your poison of choice this evening?
Bex, unfortunately, not the greatest choice, but it's all that was in the fridge.
So I went for a coffee. I probably should have got whacked out. You know what? I've actually, in the last few nights, and I watched the football the other night and drank a bit of it. I was like, mate, why have I not got on this sooner? Rum, like amazing. Like
a rum and coke.
No, just straight rum.
Oh, just straight rum.
Yeah, I don't muck about me, like, you know. But I just thought, my God, like pirates have got it right, haven't they? Like, they've really got it going on.
They certainly have. I was trying to make a pirate joke and I couldn't think of it quick enough.
No?
They are. Right?
Because basically there's no other pirate jokes you could do. Right?
Yeah, that's it, I think.
Yeah? I mean, assuming there must have been about a parrot somewhere, but...
yeah, I can't think of one.
No, me neither.
Not that's clean and radio friendly.
It doesn't matter anymore, right? That's the thing. It's that right. There used to be so many rules, wasn't there? Where I had to say, look, you can't swear on the radio. You can't swear. Just please don't swear. I'm like, fuck, we can say it. That's what we can do nowadays.
Yeah. Can we drop the C word? That was one rule on my podcast. That was the only word that wasn't allowed on my podcast.
Oh, I don't know if the C word, like, I mean, what's that?
Cake.
Cake is yeah. Yeah, it is a bad word. I remember someone saying the other word the other day, and she was saying, oh, well, my future husband, I would describe him, but it begins with like a C and ends with a T. And a guy in my office just went something like, yeah, he's what did he say a word like? Oh, it's very concerning. And I was like, that doesn't end with a T, you idiot. And it was like, oh.
He could be cut, like Jim Cut.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be cut. It could be a coat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on.
A carrot.
A carrot. Yeah, it could be carrot. Actually, that's another word you think of. Yeah. It's all about your album. So with your album though, I mean, how did you? I mean, did you do like the artwork yourself? And did you?
No, I was very fortunate actually. I messaged a good friend of ours, Darren Jones, and I said to him, I was like, I've got this album, and I was just wondering whether you seem to have these great ideas, and I love that he paints and he does album covers for people and stuff like of, you know, like Bowie or the Beatles and stuff like that, or and I just said like, if you have anything, like let me know. Like I'm doing this album. It was a few months off before it was even finished, and bless him, he sent me this picture and he was like, this isn't finished and I've done it on cardboard, but it's like a rough idea. And I fell in love with it, and I've named it The Falling Astronaut. I don't know whether you've seen the album cover, but it's like an astronaut falling, and it's it fits so well with the album because there's a lot to talk about space and, you know, and how things are bigger than us, you know, and sometimes you're like, you know, but all in a positive way. Like everything I write has a positive inflection in it. Like it's gonna be all right.
I was going to say, because I have actually seen it, and I know Darren done it, but you know, it's just my interviewer kind of vibe of just. I don't know nothing. Like I must ask, but you know, but no, I have seen it, and it is amazing. And I must admit, he's one tatted mofo, isn't he? Like he is.
I'm going to say this, and hopefully, if he hears it, but I started writing a song called "The Fallen Astronaut," and I'd love it if I could co-write it with him. So Darren, if you're listening, you know, hit me up.
We'll have to tag him in to the post afterwards. Just be like, Darren, you are needed.
Hint emoji.
Because I mean, like, it's quite a common thing. Because I mean, I know he recorded a lot of his album himself, didn't he? And I mean, you've worked with a lot of really cool people. Especially in the sort of So Slam kind of region and people, like obviously Nicola Collins is recorded at your place. I've recorded your place with the Battle Line CDs and stuff. So, and it's quite what I quite like is about the way you're very relaxed with your recording process. Like you seem just like, you know, you sit there, you do your thing basically, which is just kind of the vibe I got. Yeah, I'll do my thing.
It's hard. I was having this chat with Joe Lamb the other day, who owns London Road Studios, and like at the end of the day, the band has a vision, and I think you kind of give them space. Like I always used to let people treat my studio as their home, and you know, there's coffee and tea on tap, there's beers if you want them, you can draw on the walls. It's a creative space, and then every now and then, you know, like anybody, everyone has an opinion. And I think you can get bogged down in it. But if I saw something in a song, I would throw my 2 pennies worth in and just say, have you thought about it from this angle? Or what if you tried that on the bass? You know, and where some people are quite, you know, want to be producers who own recording studios and they will produce the band. And I'd like to think that for the period that a band's in my studio, you know, like I'm a very distant cousin, 5th member of the band that can throw an idea in. But I think I also encourage that environment by being laid back. You know, so often the question actually gets thrown at me like, oh, what do you think, Paul? Would you add anything here? And then I find that a better way to give my 2 pennies worth and say, well, try it. But the great thing is nothing's wrong. So try it. If we don't like it, move on. Simple as that.
One of the great stories, which I think it might have been you who told me when you were recording Caitlin King, who, there's not many people that I come across, and I think loads of people are amazing, but I kind of sometimes watch and I think you're too good. Like you are an insane person. Like
she's a very talented young lady.
She is, and I don't know how to use the word talent very often, because I feel like when you say the word talent, that it's kind of like, you know, have double jointed fingers and putting your fingers right back here like my friend does is a talent. It's like something that's naturally born. But I feel as though like when you watch her, she's effortless, and she, you know, it's like you can tell you must practice till dusk till dawn and really work on a craft, which is something you know. But one thing I I love the story which you told me. I think is that you went into the studio. She played you 10 songs, and then you end up choosing 5 to make her EP.
Yeah.
And you had a discussion about it, and you went in depth and in length about it, and you chose it. So that tells me that these people that come to your studio, they give you like a level of trust, because
Yeah.
not everybody
Yeah.
has the ability to be able to give what they write to someone else. You know what I mean? And say like, "What do you think?" It's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very hard. And I think the best way to be on the receiving end of that, like my job, is to listen, not to talk. Just listen, enjoy it for what it is, and let them open up to me. I've, like you said, I have a very laid back way of doing things. Probably some bands probably wouldn't like it. They probably want a bit of urgency, and whereas I'm sort of like, I'm not worried about the day rate or the bottom line or the end product. I'm more interested in, I'm going to hate saying this word, the journey. But I am. For me, the best bits aren't necessarily nailing that riff every time perfectly in time. It's the chats and the coffees in between that then generate an idea, or they have nailed that riff, and then they come in, and then you sit back and go, wow, do you want to listen back to it? And as they're listening back to it, someone in the corner goes, oh, what about this? And I'm that guy that I would say no under certain situations, but I encourage it. I'm like, yeah, go on, just go and try it. Like, it's only an extra 5 minutes. Go, run, go now. Like, whilst it's there, just lay it down. And then at the end, we all sit back and you cut and you cut and you cut. And then, but if you don't do them, you don't end up with quite the same result. And sometimes by doing that, and the bands do have a trust, they trust my ears.
And I will trust you. And that's not the way I would put it, is it? So I don't know what I was going to say. I was basically going to try and lead you into a song, basically. Then I was just like, I said, they trust my ears. And I was like, I will trust you with my ears by playing me a great song.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know whether it's great or not, but I will play you a song. I'm just trying to think of what song. Oh, I'll tell you what. So in the summer, we slightly unlocked a bit.
Yeah.
I managed to cobble a band together, and with that band, I recorded my music video of one of the songs off the album at a theatre.
Who played the starring roles?
So I had Caitlin King, Jude Kill, Paul Hill, and Joe Lamb, and for that moment, they were my hired guns.
Kill, Jill, Kill, and Hill.
Yep. Cuthbert, Dibble, and Bolt.
I'm going to mute myself and give you the nods. And
okay, cool.
You play away.
Right. I hope you enjoy it. The autumn comes from the dying sun as we watch the leaves fall from the sky. Well, and you're looking cute in your braces and boots. Daisy grounds fall across your eyes. 'Cause it's alright, just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Alright, just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Days change from the light to the shade as we watch the earth revolve round the sun. But when you cross my mind, well, the stars all shine. It reminds me of when we were young. 'Cause it's alright, just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Alright, just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Strike me down, take my crown. like a lion and the dawn. Who shines the light for the meek and the mice, whilst we ride around the sun. Spring comes from the rising sun, a starlit symphony. When your loneliness smile, well, it kills my mind. Free like a bird you it's alright. Just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Alright. Just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Smile. It's alright. Just basking in the glory of your lonely mountain. Smile.
I forgot that on Zoom chats you can do things such as the thumbs up
Oh, look at that.
and the round of applause.
Ah, I raise your round of applause with a heart.
You come up. Just a couple of things, right? I thought there might be quite interesting things like I'm assuming you have Netflix.
Yep.
So, what's the last thing you watched on Netflix which made you go, wow?
I kill people.
So was that just a statement, or was that anything you
Yeah,
watched?
it's really weird. I don't. I've got into like their true crime stuff, documentaries, and there's one on there about people who are on death row, and they tell you why they're on death row.
I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen
Really
it.
interesting. Scary, but interesting.
I see. Speaking of murder, we watched loads of them, me and the missus, and we decided to watch that How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it is so good. Like we're only just towards the end of the first season, but like I'm like hooked. Like I have to keep watching like most nights at the moment.
Just before I watched the one I just said, I watched, if you're into that stuff, I watched one called The Night Stalker, which is the story of Richard Ramirez, the serial killer.
Yeah.
It was the year he was born.
Was also a thing like we watched the one about Yorkshire Ripper as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Like if you like your documentaries, that's good. But it was really quite funny especially when we first got Netflix and we started going through it. And like that kind of thing where because you've watched this,
Yeah.
you watched this. So I think in the period of about a week, we watched one of Ted Bundy things. We watched the Disappearance of Manny McCann and something else, and it just all these things. Just like you obviously are messed up people, so you must watch these things as well. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
Which is amazing, isn't it? But so okay, that's good. That's good, right? Anything else you could recommend us?
I tell you what I watched, but I read that they cancelled it, but it was called Away, and it was about a group of astronauts that were on a one-way trip to Mars. But it was really interesting and was like sciencey. Like it wasn't a drama so much; it was sciencey. It had Hilary Swank in it, and yeah, I got all the way to the end. They made it to Mars by the end of the series. And then I was like, oh, I can't wait for the second series. And then I read that they cancelled it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But it was really good. So watch the one season if you get a chance.
We watched a thing last night. I think it's called Wonder. It was like about a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Owen Williams, isn't it? Owen Williams? Owen Wilson. If Owen Williams is in it, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That'd be good, wouldn't it? But I can't watch Owen Wilson in anything without doing a wow. Like and it got to the stage last night where obviously Jess has clocked onto this. She went, if you say wow one more time, fearing for my life a little bit. But
I have to say that was a very good impression, though. I very much enjoyed that.
thank you. Like, I reckon I could pull Owen Wilson off.
Have you got a thing for our local boy Owen Williams?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I always imagined being a big movie star. So
yeah,
yeah.
I didn't. I'm still coming to terms with being a pseudo musician.
Have you got any other plans for the hours? Have you got? I mean, when we're out of lockdown, do you think you'll gig a lot? Do you think you'll have a follow up? Like, what happens from here?
Well, no, it's really weird. So it kind of all comes from the name, really. So I watched a documentary called Hired Guns, and it follows like the Rolling Stones, Billy Joel, people like that. But it doesn't actually follow the act; it follows their band.
Right.
And a lot of these guys are hired for however long the tour is, a year and a half, and then they just disappear back into obscurity, and they're known in the trade as hired guns. They just turn up, they play, then they go home, or they sing, or whatever their role is. And I don't want to be in a band, and I don't really want to gig, to be honest, which is probably really bad considering I'm releasing an album. So I was chatting to Paul Hill and Joe Lamb, and they asked me to stand in for Gavin, our friend Gavin, a gig up at the Alex. And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind singing occasionally. Like if I've had a couple of drinks, I'm all right. And we were joking, and I'd just come out of a band called Maverick and Stevie. And Paul Hill said, oh, we should come up with a name when you sing. And I said, what about Maverick and his hired guns? Like, because obviously it was just a one-off sort of thing. And the name sort of stuck. And then when lockdown happened and I started writing this song, I obviously reached out to my mates, Paul Hill, Joe Lamb, and I sort of said, look, I want to do this album and I would like you to play on some tracks if we ever unlock. Would you be up for it? And they was like, yeah. And so I sort of like, under the pseudo of Maverick and his hired guns. And we did actually get to do 2 songs on the album, which is Ride the Sun, the reprise, and Windmills. And they were amazing, and it was amazing. Would I gig it? I'd like to gig it once. I have an idea of how I'd like to do it. Obviously, being in the trade I'm in, with lighting and sparklers and confetti raining from the ceiling, and do it big scale. And I'd like to do that like as a one-off, like as a sort of, I don't know. I think it would just end my, like I started doing this when I was 14, and I think it's just a nice finish. No band, just me, a few of my songs, round of applause at the end, go home, everyone's a winner.
Is that something is that quite comforting for you, or is that quite sad to think about? Like this could be like the last every time I think about gigging by myself.
No, I don't. For me, I like writing songs and I love recording. Like hands down, that's where I'm happiest. And I do like writing songs, and my songs probably are a bit radio too. But I just like it. I like playing around with words and working out riffs and stuff like that. When I was in a band, The Colours Between, which will be my final song, I was the rhythm guitarist, and I liked not being at the front. I'm not interested in that side of it, if that makes sense. I'm only doing this now because I have had the time to record some songs, and it is nice sort of coming out of my comfort zone a bit and singing, but I'm quite happy not being seen. That's why I'm a sound engineer for shows and stuff. I like being at the back of the room and not in the limelight. I get more of a buzz from doing that than I would. I'd just be panicking all day if I was in front of the microphone at the front of the stage. I don't think I'd ever enjoy it.
Would you feel differently if you wasn't at the front, if you were to the side, or
Yeah, like and I do dep for some of our shows. I've played guitar and bass for some of our shows on stage, and I'm happy doing that role. because the limelight's not on me.
Hmm.
Like they're looking at the people at the front who are entertaining and singing and stuff, and it's all right just sitting at the back doing my thing. That's like a happy place for me.
Well, I am going to take advantage of this then. Like this
Okay.
very rare occasion of you singing, performing like live is one of your own songs, and ask you to play one more song for me.
Okay, so the last song I'm going to play is quite funny. So you probably remember the days when I was a Colours Between band member with Matt Hines who's now in Pale Blue Dot and stuff. And our guitarist Dave Phelps wrote this song, and then like most people, he doesn't play guitar much anymore, and as a family and a job, and didn't like so many of us didn't stick with it as much. He's sort of grown up. He's a grown up now, and I rung him up. We used to do this thing for Rock for Heroes, which is the show I'm associated with, where we were doing a live show every night through the first lockdown. I think we did it for 5 months solid. And I played the song I'm about to play is called 50p Rocket. And it literally, people were like, that song's amazing. That song's amazing. And they all loved it. So I now play it and it's on the album. I did a copy on the album and I put Dave's name on the album and I sent it to him and he's well made up. But this was a song we used to do in the Colours Between that Dave wrote, and I love it, and I think it's a really good closer.
Take it away, my friend. The nod.
Wicked. Got 50p in my pocket. Gonna buy myself a rocket. Gonna fly into outer space, just so I can see that look across your face. I'm gonna go see the man on the moon. Gonna ask him, are you coming out soon? Might come out later at night, he said, when the sun goes down, the stars are shining bright. It's brighter than the average day tonight. Well, sometimes you gotta keep your eyes closed if you wanna see this light. You'll never know just what might be when one of these days you'll have 50p. Eventually, a 50p rocket. 1, 2, 3, 4. You ever left wondering why? How all the stars were put there in the sky, and how they hang without falling. It must be double-sided sticky tape, or some might think it's brighter than the average day. Tonight, well, sometimes you've gotta keep your eyes closed if you wanna see this light. You'll never know just what might be when one of these days you'll have 50p. Eventually, a 50p rocket. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la. rocket. Gonna fly into outer space, just so I can see that look across your face. Gonna go see the man on the moon. Gonna ask him, are you coming out soon? Might come out later tonight, he said. When the sun goes down, the stars are shining bright. It's brighter than the average day. Tonight, well, tonight. Well, sometimes you've gotta keep your eyes closed if you wanna see this light. You'll never know just what might be. Well, one of these days you'll have 50p. Eventually, 50 rocket. La la.
Awesome. There you go. Nice one, mate. Great work. It's been a pleasure as always. And it's been far too long. And I just want to say, as what I record you as a lab rat at the beginning of the show, I think you've been pretty brilliant as my first guest.
Oh, thank you very much. I've enjoyed being your first, and thank you so much for having me.
I mean, you're most welcome. We'll do this again at some point in the future. But I'm ecstatic the fact that you got to do this tonight, and you've got some great tunes. I wish you all the best for the digital release of your album tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yay!
Tomorrow.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I've been listening to the other previous shows, and I've really enjoyed them. And I'm also looking forward to hearing your album. And then maybe on my podcast, and you can perform it on my podcast.
Yes, a bit of what do you call it?
A crossover.
Yeah. But no, honestly, mate, no, thank you very much for doing this, and I hope to see you soon. Like, you know,
yeah, me too, my good friend. I just I miss people.
Yeah, no, same. It's been a very strange experience, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, but you know, fingers crossed. Just stay safe, and then next year we'll have the biggest party in the world.
Year-long Glastonbury.
A year-long Glastonbury. I'm really, really up for that.
Right. Well, that is the end of episode 20 of my podcast with Mr. Paul Finch.
Thank you very much. Woo!
See you next time.